I was informed a long time ago that it's 7 o'clock, but not reminded, and I'm too conditioned. So I was programmed for 8 o'clock. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Ujiraye Nasta Prayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavat Utama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki Idam Bhagavatam Nama Purana Brahma Samhitam Uttama Shloka Charitam Chakara Bhagavan Rishi. Okay, third canto, chapter 21, text 32. Saha aham svāṁśa-kalayā tvad-vīryeṇa mahā-mune tava kṣetre devahūtyāṁ praṇeṣye tattva-saṁhitām sahāhaṁ svāṁśa-kalayā tvad-vīryeṇa mahā-mune tava kṣetre devahūtyāṁ praṇeṣye tattva-saṁhitām sahāhaṁ svāṁśa-kalayā tvad-vīryeṇa mahā-mune tava kṣetre devahūtyāṁ praṇeṣye tattva-saṁhitām mahā-mune tava kṣetre devahūtyāṁ praṇeṣye tattva-saṁhitām sahāhaṁ svāṁśa-kalayā tvad-vīryeṇa mahā-mune tava kṣetre devahūtyāṁ praṇeṣye tattva-saṁhitām sahāhaṁ svāṁśa-kalayā mahā-mune devahūtyāṁ praṇeṣye tattva-saṁhitām. Ladies. Sahāhaṁ svāṁśa-kalayā tvad-vīryeṇa mahā-mune tava kṣetre devahūtyāṁ praṇeṣye tattva-saṁhitām sahāhaṁ svāṁśa-kalayā tvad-vīryeṇa mahā-mune tava kṣetre devahūtyāṁ praṇeṣye tattva-saṁhitām. Good. Saha with aham, I, sva-aṁśa-kalayā, my own plenary portion, tvad-vīryeṇa, by your semen, mahā-mune, O great sage, tava kṣetre, and your wife, devahūtyāṁ, in Devahūti, praṇeṣye, I shall instruct tattva of the ultimate principles, saṁhitām, the doctrine. Translation: O great sage, I shall manifest my own plenary portion through your wife, Devahūti, along with your 9 daughters, and I shall instruct her in the system of philosophy that deals with the ultimate principles or categories. Can repeat that? O great sage, I shall manifest my own plenary portion through your wife, Devahūti, along with your 9 daughters, and I shall instruct her in the system of philosophy that deals with the ultimate principles or categories. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Savior of the world by these purports. Herein the word svāṁśa-kalayā indicates that the Lord would appear as the son of Devahūti and Kardama Muni as Kapiladeva, the first propounder of the Sāṅkhya philosophy, which is mentioned here as tattva-saṁhitā. The Lord foretold to Kardama Muni that he would appear in his incarnation, Kapiladeva, and would propagate the philosophy of Sāṅkhya. Sāṅkhya philosophy is very well known in the world as propagated by another Kapiladeva, but the Sāṅkhya philosophy is different from the Sāṅkhya philosophy that was propounded by the Lord himself. There are 2 kinds of Sāṅkhya philosophy. One is the godless Sāṅkhya philosophy, and the other is the godly Sāṅkhya philosophy. The Sāṅkhya propagated by Kapiladeva, son of Devahūti, is godly philosophy. There are different manifestations of the Lord. He is one, but he has become many. He divides himself into 2 different expansions, one called Kala and the other Vibhinamsha. Ordinary living beings are called Vibhinamsha, expansions, and the unlimited expansions of Vishnu Tattva, such as Vamana, Govinda, Narayan, Pradyumna, Vasudeva, and Ananta, are called svāṁśa-kalayā. Swāṁśa refers to the direct expansion, and Kala denotes an expansion from the expansion of the original Lord. Baladeva is the expansion of Krishna, and from Baladeva the next expansion is Sankarshan. Thus Sankarshan is Kala, but Baladeva is Swāṁśa. There's no difference, however, among them. This is very nicely explained in the Brahma-samhita 546, Dipartyadeva hi dashantaramabhyupecha. When one candle, one may light a second candle, with the second candle a third and a fourth, and in this way one can light up thousands of candles, and no candle is inferior to another in distributing light. Every candle has the full potential candle power, but there is still the distinction that one candle is the first, another the second, another the third, and another the fourth. Similarly, there is no difference between the immediate expansion of the Lord and his secondary expansion. The Lord's names are considered in exactly the same way, since the Lord is absolute. His name, his form, his pastimes, his paraphernalia, and his quality all have the same potency. In the absolute world, the name Krishna is transcendental sound representation of the Lord. There is no potential difference between his quality, name, form, etc. If we chant the name of the Lord, Hare Krishna, that has as much potency as the Lord himself. There is no potential difference between the form of the Lord, whom we worship, and the form of the Lord in the temple. One should not think that one is worshiping a doll or a statue of the Lord, even if others consider it to be a statue, because there is not potential difference. One gets the same result by worshiping the statue of the Lord or the Lord himself. This is the science of Krishna consciousness. Om Jnana Timirandasya Gananjana Shalakaya Chakshura Militanyena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swa Padantikam Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravane Pracharane Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desatarane Anshakalpa Turubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namaha Namo Mahabharanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namani Gora Tushe Namaha Panchatatmakam Krishnam Bhakta Rupa Sarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhakti Shaktikam. Hey Krishna, Karuna Sindhu, Dinabandhu, Jagatpate, Gopesha, Gopika, Kanta, Radha, Kanta Namostate, Tapta, Kanchana Gaurange, Radhe, Vrindavaneshwari, Vishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Krishna Tvadiya Padapankaja Panjarantam Ajaiva Me Visatu Manasaraja Hansan Prana Pranama Samaye Kapavata Pittai Kantavaro Danavido Smaranam Kutaste. Okay, thank you for sitting there. Please pray that Krishna will speak through me something worthwhile for all of our purification. We're very fortunate to be in the Holy Dham, the birthplace of Lord Chaitanya, and to be with so many devotees, and to be with the Panchatattva, Radha Madhava, Prabhupada. It's inconceivable that the Mayapur is not different than Vrindavan. The Boma Dham is not different than the Goloka Dham. All these things, but it's Achintya Bheda Bheda Tattva. It's the same and not the same. This purport is a lot of explanation of that, which is one of the most important. Practically, Lord Chaitanya, amalgamated all the Sampradayas teachings with this Achintya Bheda Bheda Tattva, simultaneously, inconceivably the same and different. We have to understand that in order to understand anything. And we were talking, and Prabhupada asked us if we should discuss unity and diversity. There's one place where he says unity and diversity, Achintya Bheda Bheda Tattva, that's the same. So we have a lot of diversity here as far as bodily types, languages, backgrounds, even twin so-called identical twin brothers or sisters, sometimes they're very, very much different because of, whatever. So, but spiritually everyone is the same. We're all souls. We're all part and parcel of Krishna. We're all servants of Krishna. We're all das. So if we can remember that, then we can be united in diversity. That we're all just trying to serve Krishna. And variety is the mother of invention, or variety is that's the way I always heard it. Prabhupada said it's spice of life, variety. We like variety. I saw the pictures of the lunch dolly, it's quite a lot of variety there. But what to speak of, all the different Raj Bhoga offering or something. We like variety. We like to go to the cafeteria where you can choose from so many things. And flower arrangements with many, many different kinds of flowers are more beautiful. So the more different kinds of people we have, it becomes more beautiful. One devotee was a manager. He was complaining to Prabhupada that everybody doesn't just follow what I say or something. Prabhupada said, that's Mayavadi. You want everyone to be the same. We are individuals, but we have to understand there will be disagreements, there'll be different ideas, and we don't know, what's right or wrong exactly, unless it's totally against, principles. But so all these things, all these titles, svāṁśa, vivinamsa, a little bit hard to understand fully. Kapila's Sāṅkhya philosophy is, I haven't counted exactly, but it's definitely one of the longest sections of the Srimad Bhagavatam, the teachings of Lord Kapiladeva. Srila Prabhupada put a lot of stress on it, gave a lot of lectures focused from those. So we have a book, The Teachings of Lord Kapila, because Prabhupada lectured on it a lot. We have a book, The Teachings of Queen Kunti. Prabhupada also, I was in LA one time, I might have been 2 times, when Prabhupada came and, for Bhagavatam class, and of course we were reading a verse every day, but he said, go to Queen Kunti. And that's where that book came from. He asked to, specifically chose to talk on that. So svāṁśa is, Krishna's part and parcel. There's so many different, as it spreads out, a part of a part of a part of a part. So like we say, Goloka, Vishnur Mahan Sahiyasya Kalavishesho, that even the Mahavishnu is quite removed, expansion of Krishna. Because we have Balaram, Sankarshan, and we have the quadruple expansion, and there's another, in the material world, and finally we get Mahavishnu. And Mahavishnu is so great. Even Garbhodaka is so great. So we find a lot of predictions, in the scriptures. Krishna is predicting in the Vamandev, Sukracharya predicted exactly what Vamandev was going to do. Krishna often says what he's going to do. So here he's telling him, what the future, and this marriage is not ordinary, that such a renounced person would, it wasn't that he was just a lusty, crazy guy that wants to get out of the ashram and enjoy and have a private servant or anything. It was a special arrangement of the Lord so the Lord could appear. Krishna appears in so many different ways, but sometimes he chooses a mother and a father, and we don't have much information of the birth or the growing up of Kapiladeva, but we have the teachings. But as soon as he was born, the father left home and renounced. And then the mother is, she wants spiritual knowledge. So on her inquiry, we have the whole teachings of Lord Kapiladeva, which are quite amazing. I remember when we first got that book, and we were so fascinated by it, different things we couldn't comprehend. Like it said, sleep is a function of intelligence. And we always heard sleep is ignorance, right? But you have to have enough sleep, not too much sleep. But you have to have enough or the intelligence won't work. This has been scientifically studied and proven. Sleep deprivation is, memory, ability to remember things, to learn things. Everything goes down unless you're on the level like Prabhupada or the Goswamis or something. Then it just gets better. But they didn't deprive themselves of sleep. They didn't think, I'm not going to sleep, I'm going to fast, and they just forgot. They were so absorbed in Krishna, they just forget to sleep. Then it was saying how things can be in the mode of passion, the mode of ignorance, and the mode of goodness. And at one point it says chanting. Chanting can be in the mode of ignorance. We thought the holy name is transcendental, and we're chanting it, but no, it depends on our consciousness. So, if we don't have right consciousness, then it's not going to work. The same way, we get different results from what we put into it. So, if we're trying to get service to Krishna, which means love, in love of Krishna, because if we love someone and we want to serve that person. Many people have the wrong idea about love. I love you, so please serve me, but that's not quite right. It's supposed to be selfless service. We hear about that word, selfless, not selfish. Giving. So we want to give everything to Krishna, give everything to the spiritual master. That's how we can give it to Krishna. I was just going to look up just the chapter titles of the Kapila's teachings. So the first one is the glories of devotional service. Then fundamental principles of material nature. Is instruction on execution of devotional service, explanation of devotional service, description of adverse fruitive activities, instructions on the movements of the living entities, entanglement in fruitive activities. Is it mixed up? So there's even that information there about the development of the embryo in the womb. And month by month how it develops, right? And I remember it was in the 80s or something when they first put a camera, and exactly right, same. So we can understand when we read Bhagavatam, there's so many descriptions of the material world and how everything works, and that we can see very clearly. It's exactly right if we just look at it. So that we must also understand that all the talk about the soul and the spiritual world and the incredible results of surrender to Krishna, the power of the holy name, all that's also correct. It's not. This is absolute knowledge. So here, Prabhupada is stressing in the purport that the holy name is non-different than Krishna. We hear that a lot. I wish I had more realization of that. Then we would chant. You can imagine if, like if we go on the altar and in front of the deities, we become very attentive, right? Want to be careful. But the holy name is the same thing. So you want to be very respectful, offering ourselves to the holy name. This month we're offering lamps all the time. Makes the temple room very beautiful. Everybody's offering lamps all day long, but this is another inconceivable thing. The glories of offering a lamp every day in Kartik, is so great. But what we have, the most great thing, Prabhupada, the first time he mentioned the Kartik month, he said it's like a big sale and you get a discount for a little bit of, you get much more, for your price. But he said it's mostly for the non-devotees, because if you read what, recommended things to do, get up early, take a bath, chant the holy name, worship the Lord, all these things, it's what we do every day anyway. But we want to increase, we want to chant more, we want to offer more things to Krishna, and preach more, spread the holy name more. The holy name is Krishna. Nothing else is going to help the crazy world that we're in. And it always seems like it's crazier than ever, but if you read any history, it's not. It's the same old song. I was reading a Krishna book, Shalva, right? Because I go to Israel, so I'm kind of thinking of that situation where these two different groups of people hate each other. But Shalva, he was a friend of Shishupal, so he was especially angry when Krishna kidnapped Rukmini, who was supposed to marry Shishupal. But then when Krishna killed Shishupal, he didn't think only to kill Krishna, he wanted to destroy the entire Yadu dynasty. Right? So that's going on that part of the world. We want to destroy all the people of this religion and destroy all the people of this color or whatever, because 1,000 years ago somebody killed one of my ancestors. It's nothing new. Even Dravida Gorilla, he was also angry at the Yadu dynasty for something. So we want to rise above that, and Harinama, Harinama, Harinami Vakevalam. There's no other way than the holy name. Harinama doesn't, technically it doesn't mean public chanting. That's Nagar Sankirtan. But in ISKCON it means public chanting. But it means chanting the holy name. Wherever you are, whether you're by yourself, you're in the shower, chant the holy name, because there's no other way to get out from this, to purify the planet. Back in the 70s, when I was first with devotees, it was always, we're going to take over the world. This was many times a day we would talk like, because Prabhupada said, he said historians will be bewildered at how did the Hare Krishnas take over the world without firing a shot, without any bombs, without any, whatever nowadays they're using. So Ramaswara Prabhu, is he here? Yeah. He has in his diary, when he was with Srila Prabhupada, that was 77, right? When you ask him, how would we take over the world? You have a microphone? He can say, yeah, since you're the one who, heard it and wrote it down.
Maharaj, thank you for your association and this class. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. So, yes, it was fact that Srila Prabhupada and I like to talk about future histories or past histories, but especially how is this prediction that Krishna consciousness will create ultimately a one world government. How is that possible? And I said, Prabhupada, my understanding of revolutions is that it's always been violent. American Revolution, French Revolution, Russian Revolution, all violent. Will that be how Krishna consciousness spreads? And he said, oh no. It is spreading by Sankirtan Yajna book distribution. And I said, I don't understand. How is that a I understand it's a revolution from our perspective. He said, the atmosphere of the earth is filled with contamination, sound vibration of lies, sound vibration of envy, sound vibration of material hate and competition. But the Sankirtan Yajna surcharges the atmosphere of the whole earth with spiritual, pure, divine potency, non-different from Radha Krishna, non-different from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It completely purifies and saturates the atmosphere, turning it into spiritual atmosphere. And then he said, so as this happens, people taking birth under this new atmosphere, this spiritual atmosphere,
Hare Krishna. Gauranga.
This is the final point.
Anyway, I think we can, yeah.
He said it doesn't matter, Christian, Muslim, Hindu, these designations don't matter. They will be devotional. They will be godly. And generation after generation, continuing until the population is godly population. And that's what happens when you take birth under a spiritual, surcharged atmosphere. He said, so in that way, Sankirtan Yajna will change the world. That's the revolution. Hare Krishna.
You say you want a revolution. So we want that. It is a revolution. It says in the Bhagavatam, first canto, they create a revolution in the degraded minds of the conditioned souls by pouring in the nectar of Govinda. So that's what's happening. So if we look back, to before Prabhupada came, and so much change has gone on in the world. The news is all about all the wars and all the new weapons and all those things, but there's also the fact that so many people are chanting Hare Krishna that there's thousands of Rath Yatras every year. There's huge vegetarian movements, and on and on and on like that. Everybody wanted these things, and they want the world to be nice, but they don't know how to do it. But Prabhupada, he brought it. He brought the Srimad Bhagavatam, and he brought the Maha-mantra and the Bhagavad Gita, and he taught us Lord Chaitanya, and the Sankirtan movement of publicly chanting, publicly, distributing transcendental literature in every language. And he said that famous lecture, just go on distributing books in as many books in as many languages as possible, and then you will take over the world. I remember when he said that, and immediately it was sent out all over to all the devotees in the world. So this is going on, and it's increasing all the time. More and more people are coming. But there's a long way to go, and we want, Prabhupada, Lord Chaitanya said, I'm demanding every man, woman, and child in the world to help me to distribute these fruits of love of Godhead. What are these fruits? The fruits is, Srila Prabhupada's books, prasadam, the holy name. We have to help Krishna. This is like, Prabhupada explains after Haridas Thakur was explaining to Lord Chaitanya the unlimited power and glories of the holy name. And Lord Chaitanya was amazed. How could he know my mind? And then Prabhupada said, this is the duty of the disciple and the devotee. The Lord is distressed. Lord Chaitanya was distressed. How are we going to help these people? Kali Yuga, they're so degraded. They're just thinking about killing cows and destroying Brahminical culture. And Haridas explained it's already happening because you're spreading the holy name. So Prabhupada took it up, and so many devotees, all of you are taking it up. You're all coming here. And from here, this vibration is going all over the place. It says to finish by 9 o'clock. I don't know if you want to... I think today it's 8 o'clock, right? So it's supposed to take some time for question and answers, because it's 10 minutes for questions. If you have any answers, that would be better. Huh? But it's amazing. I just was... there's 2 devotees from Israel that joined on our parikrama we've been on, and they're fairly new devotees, but totally into it. The Mataji's like playing cartels like professional, and so I was telling them about Harinam in Israel, which is quite amazing. So we were there, and the so-called war is going on, and we did a special big Harinam festival. There's one Israeli girl with us. Most of the devotees are Russian background, but so she said afterward, she said that the people were coming up to her, they could see she's different than the Russians or something, but she said they were just, they were crying, and they were saying, thank you so much. We're so happy that you're doing this, that you're, what are you doing? Well, we're chanting, we're trying to save the world and chant the holy name, and people are thanking the devotees and joining, at least, at the time we're there, they chant and dance like crazy, and that's all over the world like that. The more we're out there, the more people are joining, and it's spreading, beyond that. We had a Rath Yatra in Cologne, Germany, and 2 days later, 3 days later, 4 days later, 5 days later, 6 days later, 7 days later, 8 days later, 9 days later, 10 days later, 11 days later, 12 days later, 13 days later, 14 days later, 15 days later, 16 days later, 17 days later, 18 days later, 19 days later, 20 days later, 21 days later, 22 days later, 23 days later, 24 days later, 25 days later, 26 days later, 27 days later, 28 days later, 29 days later, 30 days later, 31 days later, 32 days later, 33 days later, 34 days later, 35 days later, 36 days later, 37 days later, 38 days later, 39 days later, 40 days later, 41 days later, 42 days later, 43 days later, 44 days later, 45 days later, 46 days later, 47 days later, there's a very famous church there. It took 1,000 years to build or something. It's an incredible building and just like unbelievable. So we were coming down the road, and this church is up. There's a bridge. We're going under the bridge, and I was thinking along the Rath Yatra, it was a Saturday, and everything was closed. There's no people anywhere, you know. And then all of a sudden we were coming towards this church, and this bridge, the very long bridge and the stairway, there was hundreds of people waiting for the Rath Yatra, you know, and everybody's. So the next day when Satchidananda Swami said, you know, what was the best thing about the Rath Yatra? And some devotee said, well, when we were echoing under that bridge. And then he said, no, what about before the bridge, when all those people were filming? Because that means, you know, there's a few hundred people filming. Every one of them is sharing it somewhere. Some of those people have thousands of followers, sometimes hundreds of thousands of followers. So the Harinam is, by the mercy of Kali Yuga, is getting spread much more than we can possibly imagine. No matter where we go, you know, everywhere you see these. And people are, you know, amazed. They don't know, even they don't know what it is, but more and more people are learning what it is because we're giving them books, we're opening more and more centers, you know, letting people find out. Delhi, I spent a few weeks in Delhi. They have 18 big temples. Really big, you know. I went to one in Ghaziabad, and I thought, wow, this is really big. I was outside, and then they said, well, we want to take you to our new temple we're building. It's like an airport. It's so big. And so many devotees. One temple, they said this is a small temple, 40 brahmacharis. So, you know, we're in Delhi. When I first went to Delhi temple, it was a tiny little house. And then that temple is Punjabi Bagh. Surabi Prabhu opened that temple in the car park garage of the house, big enough for one car. That's where the temple was. Now they're building a gigantic temple for Rath Yatra. For Janmashtami. Across the street is government land. They had a pandal about 100 meters long, at least, maybe more, you know, and it'd be completely full for a couple of days. Then we were doing Harinam, and there was another place that, you know, ISKCON, and we went in there. It's a pretty big room. It's a preaching center. I was like, wow, this, you know, because it's bigger than our temple in Japan, and it's full of people. He said, well, we have 60 of these, 60 of those, and then like unlimited namatas and bhakti vrikshas. But it started out like very, very slow and almost nobody. But Prabhupada had that vision to just keep spreading the holy name, and we have to do everything else, you know, to keep up with what's coming. But that's how it's going to happen. It's going to change the atmosphere of the whole planet, so people, you know, will get transcendental consciousness. Leaders will become spiritualized. Everybody will understand, you know, that we're part and parcel of Krishna, that we're not enemies because we have different languages or different, you know, clothes or different types of buildings or something. No, we're not enemies. We're all brothers and sisters. We're all servants of Krishna. Okay, anyone want to say something? Today is Gopastami, so I guess that will be something I don't have to talk about. It's also the appearance day of Gadadhar Das Goswami, disappearance. Sri Advaita Gadadhar and Dhananjaya Pandit, another associate of Lord Chaitanya, and Srinivasacharya. So any one of those is subject matter for books. But we can take shelter of the mercy. Srinivasacharya is most noted for the Goswami Astakam. Gadadhar, of course, is very well known as a servant of Tota Gopinath and a lifetime companion of Lord Chaitanya, and the topmost reciter of Srimad Bhagavatam. Lord Chaitanya and all his associates would go daily for 3 hours just to hear him recite Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay, so thank you very much for coming to Mayapur and for taking part in this Sankirtan movement. It is taking over the world slowly. Sometimes we think the world is taking over us, but no, we have to change them. We have to wake people up. Jeev Jago. How's that song? You spend your days decorating your bodies. I just heard Urmila Mataji, she said, she looked up and the fashion industry is like trillions of dollars, every year, just to decorate the body, and cosmetic is similar. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur already knew that. So we have to change. You're not the body. Why should we spend our whole life trying to decorate it? They even decorate the dead bodies, at least in America. Spend a lot of money dressing them up and fixing their hair and everything. And we're not the body. We're all servants of Krishna. So, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar, Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So Gopastami ki jai. Better get down to the temple, right? Something right away. I don't know the schedule.